Hey guys, so welcome to the ultimate guide to maths word problems. Now this is my beginners part 1 version. Now you might be wondering why I've decided to create two different versions for beginners. Now this is mainly because I noticed that the level of difficulty goes up quite a bit from grade 7 to grade 8. So I decided to create two different courses so you guys could feel comfortable when going up in levels. Now in this introduction lecture, I'm going to take you through the 8 different topics that we'll be covering as part of this course and provide some example questions that we'll be looking at. So by the end of this course, if you follow the methodology that are detailed in each of my lectures and go through all the lectures in the worksheets or go through all the questions in the worksheets and obviously stay in touch with me when you need help, I can guarantee you that you'll be feeling a lot more comfortable working with problem solving questions than you ever have before. Now I'm going to go through something like 40 to 50 different questions across the 8 topics and show you tips on how you can approach them yourself. Now there's always a pattern when it comes to these types of questions, and I will highlight them for you so you know exactly what to look out for the next time you see these types of questions. So now let's get into the actual curriculum. So in the very first chapter, we're going to have a look at general number skills. In this chapter, we're going to look at things like adding and subtracting, multiplying and dividing, etc. So let's have a look at a typical question. We have Jill, Toby and Finley are racing up and down the stairs. Jill takes 3 steps at a time, Toby takes 2 steps at a time, while Finley takes 4 steps at a time. Now each of them reaches the bottom with no leftover steps. How many steps are there in the flight of stairs? What is the smallest number of steps possible? And then finally, if Finley takes 5 steps at a time and still reaches the bottom with no steps left over, what is the smallest number of steps possible? Now, you may have already seen this, or you may not have, but this is simply us using the concept of lowest common multiples, and I will show you exactly how to employ this. From there, we move on to the fractions chapter, where we're going to have a look at adding and subtracting fractions, multiplying fractions, etc. So a typical question would be, Dayton's mum made a big apple crumble pie for Christmas. Dayton was really hungry, so she ate 1/10 of it, and then came back later and had another 1/3. How much pie did Dayton eat altogether, and then how much of the pie was left? So again, employing a little bit of multiplication, a little bit of addition, subtraction, etc. From there, we move on to decimals. So a typical question would be, Sam is mowing his front lawn, which has a total area of 34.23 square meters. He has a fountain in the middle that takes up 2.35 square meters, and a row of flowers that take up another 12.54 square meters. How much of the lawn does he have to mow? So once again, this employs a few different concepts within decimals that we're going to have a look at. Then we move on to percentages. A typical question would be, Ash just recently got a pay rise. Now if she earns $720 right now, how much will she be earning after her 5% pay rise? So as you can see, guys, a very practical question, very much related to real life. So percentages will again, we'll look at numerous types of questions like these, which we can apply back to our real life. From there, we move on to algebra. A question could be, to hire out a yacht, it requires a $4,500 deposit as well as an hourly charge of $320. Now, write a rule that's used to calculate the total cost of hiring a yacht for M hours. And then, how much does it cost to hire the yacht for 6 hours? Once again, guys, as you can see, a very practical sort of question can be applied to numerous scenarios in real life. And we're going to have a look at these types of questions. From there, we move on to measurement. In measurement, a question could be, Ulysses is replacing some of the windows in his car. Now, the windscreen is 1.5 meters by 0.8 meters, while the driver window is 0.6 meters by 0.45 meters. Now, if it costs $43 per square meter to replace the 2 windows, how much will the whole job cost? Then we're going to move on to probability. A typical question could be, Leo has a bag of different colored candies. There are 7 green, 4 blue, and 9 pink ones. A, how many candies are there altogether? And part B asks you to find the probability of different situations within this particular scenario. And then to finish off, we're going to have a look at linear equations, where a typical question could be, I'm half the age of my brother. Now my cousin is 4 years older than I am and 5 years younger than my brother. How old is my brother? So we're going to employ what we have learned in algebra and move into writing equations that will help us solve questions just like this. So guys, that was an introduction to the typical types of questions we're going to be looking at in this particular course. I hope that was helpful, and I will see you in the very first lecture or very first course, which is general number skills. Thank you guys, and I will see you there.